All right, let me tell you guys about our very first sponsor. When we first set out to make this podcast, we had absolutely no idea what we were doing, but we knew we needed a place to record, edit, host, and distribute our show. Luckily for us, we found Anchor, which has all of these services in one spot in an easy-to-use format on desktop or mobile, and it's free, which fit really nicely into our beginner budget of $0. We were able to distribute our podcast to all of the major platforms like Spotify, Apple, and Amazon. Download the Anchor app or go to anchor.fm to get started. It's Mel.
And Kel.
And this is It's Called Culture.
Ever heard of it?
All right, we're back in the studio recording episode 8. We actually had to make a few little upgrades to the studio because we were hearing a little echo in the past few episodes we recorded.
Right. Yeah, you did a couple adjustments. We added some coziness to it, added some soundproofing to the walls.
Yeah, apparently church benches, stylistically great, acoustically really bad.
Not great. And we should know that from all the years of going to church.
So we added a lot of blanquetes all around the room.
Blankets, if someone doesn't understand what that means.
We were rolling up towels, stuffing them around windows. Full Portuguese experience in here. Like, it kind of looks like we're making like a masa, and we had to cover it up to let it rise.
To keep it warm.
Like, the whole room is like one big masa pana.
So we have, Melissa has an AC unit attached to her window because it is Memorial Day weekend and it's already hot and humid. So we have literally blankets all wrapped around the AC unit to try to cover the sound.
We brought my dog in here because he's fluffy, and I figured he could absorb some sound as well.
Yep, we have an added guest. He won't be saying much.
Oh. Our episode today is going to be about visiting the homeland.
And if you haven't figured that out yet, the homeland is Azores.
I mean, specifically for us, even we could go as far as to say St. Michael. I don't know how, or San Miguel. I don't know how different any of the other islands are from what we'll describe or what our experience was in San Miguel. But
so you're actually going this summer.
Yes. So I've only been one other time. I went when I was 16 for 3 weeks. That was the only time I've been. And I'm going to go now in August and bring my American husband for the first time to experience it.
I cannot wait to hear the stories when you get back.
So it's not even going to have the same effect because I feel like a lot of things have been upgraded and he's not going to be traveling back in time as much as it was when I went when I was 16. Right. When I first went, my dad had not been out there in forever. My mom, it was her first trip because she had been born as soon as her family immigrated here into the U.S. So the house that we were staying at was the house my dad grew up in. Mm-hmm. Family still owned it, and it had been just kind of left there the whole time since they immigrated in the 1970s. Right. And then it was like 2002, and we were going out there. So it was like as they left it, like if they just packed up and left their shit, the house was pretty much exactly the same. Technologically stuck in remote village in 1978.
So obviously that's like a shocker for you. But when your husband goes, it's been updated.
Yeah. So they've spent a lot of time out there updating the house and amenities and all of that in the past 20 years or so. But when I went, it was an experience.
I can imagine.
There was no bathroom inside.
Sounds about right.
There was just an outhouse.
Yep.
And not even a good one at that. It was just a toilet, outhouse. I'm pretty sure my dad told me they used to have pigs at the bottom of the outhouse. They used to just like eat the shit.
Probably sounds about right.
He told me they used to wipe their ass with corn on the cob.
Yeah, like I always thought that they used the like husk of the corn. No, I'm sorry.
No, the cob.
No, that's probably right. My dad said his bed was made of husk. Yeah. So maybe they made the beds out of husk and used the cob to clean to wipe their asses.
Not a single thing was wasted.
No, of course not. There's like 10 kids running around. They can't waste anything.
There were no pigs at the bottom of the outhouse when we went in 2002. But he apparently told me that used to be a thing. We'll have to look that up.
Yeah, I'll have to see. I didn't hear any stories about that with my parents, but my grandmother's house on my mom's side was a little more advanced when I already was there, but same thing, the bathroom was outside. The kitchen was pretty much outside as well. And like you just had like this small little area with a table that was like covered and you would go eat there, but like her kitchen was outside. If that made any sense. She had like a small courtyard.
Yep.
And like her kitchen wasn't attached to her home.
That's interesting. The weather, I guess, allows that.
Right, because it's not like freezing cold. It's no snow. Like when I went out there for Christmas, I was wearing a t-shirt and shorts.
So as long as it's not raining while you're trying to eat your shishosh.
Yeah. But my dad's was different. He was like on the farm. So he could have had some pigs.
Yeah. I don't even, like, logistically, I'm trying to think of, like, how that would even work. Like, where are the pigs? Do they need daylight? Are they just, like, in the bottom of the Chamber of Secrets over there?
Do you think your dad was just messing with you? Do you think he was trying to put fear in you? So, like, hey, this is the first time you're coming out here. But remember this. When Daddy lived here, our pigs used to eat our shit. And you were probably like, what the fuck am I getting myself into when I go out there?
It's possible he made it up. It's very possible. But also, the stuff I did see out there, it made it seem like it was legitimate.
We'll have to find out how true that is.
The outhouse was the only bathroom when we arrived. Mm-hmm. And this outhouse hadn't been opened in God knows how many years. So it's just there. And I had to go to the bathroom really badly. I had just had a long car ride from the airport. And I went in there. I opened the latch. I closed the door. Like, it's such a tiny space. My shoulders are almost touching the walls of the outhouse.
Right.
And my knees are, like, touching the door when I shut the door. Just very close quarters. And then there was a little light bulb with a pull string so that you could turn the light on when you were in there. I pulled the light switch. The light came on. And there were just cockroaches just scurrying up and down all the walls in there. I never ran out of a freaking place so fast in my life.
So gross.
I came out of there and I was like, nope. I am not using that bathroom for 3 weeks.
You're like, what the fuck am I getting myself into? Like, what did my parents just bring me to?
Exactly.
You're like, what the fuck?
And I was like, I don't care what you got to do, but I'm about to go knock on some neighbors' doors. So I went up to the vizinhos, the neighbors, and I started knocking and being like, "Eu posso usar o quarto banho? Can I use your bathroom?" And they let me in, of course, because Portuguese people are so welcoming. She probably fed me dinner there too or something.
She was probably preparing her 4-course meal for her family, and so she just added you into it. Right.
So I went and peed up there, and my dad's like, all right, well, you can't go pee at the neighbor's house.
Every time you have to go.
So he went to, like, the nearest city, bought a toilet to hook up in the barn.
Yeah.
He's like, oh, we'll put a toilet in there. So nothing legitimate. He's just out there with my grandfather just digging a trench.
Right.
And trying to connect to the street plumbing somehow. If there even was street plumbing, who knows? And I'm like, don't you need to pull a permit or something? Like, what is the deal
Not
here?
Out there.
No.
It's what? No man's land? You do whatever you want out there. Dad kind of still does whatever he wants out over here.
Ain't that the truth?
They ain't pulling permits. Let's face it. Just joking.
Yeah, definitely not serious. So they just start digging in the yard, start laying some pipe, whatever. They connect this toilet. It's in the corner of a giant barn, just chilling.
Right.
There's no privacy. There's not like a room that you go in and it's the bathroom. It was the bath barn.
I'm just thinking like the middle of the night if you needed to go.
So you had to walk out of the house, walk kind of across the yard, walk into the barn, and then just go sit in the corner of this giant open space while you do your business. And the cockroaches were in the barn too. But I found it a little better than the outhouse because I had like this cockroach spray and I could sit on the toilet and I could see them approaching because there was so much open space. So I would just be like spraying cockroaches as they crawled towards me while I was going to the bathroom.
God. So you were like an exterminator at the same time.
There was no bathroom, shower, bathtub situation.
Okay.
I walked into the house and I'm like, we're here for 3 weeks. Where are we bathing?
At the neighbor's house.
My dad points me to this picture, like a jug with a bowl. And I'm like, is that how you used to shower?
Yeah,
literally
it
just
is.
like a little sponge bath. It just reminded me of European royalty in the 1500s. Like I'm in a castle and I'm going to go pour my bath in a bowl and sponge bath myself.
It was rough for them.
I'm like, how did you live?
Yeah, they did it. Obviously, because they're here today to tell us these stories.
No shit you wanted to come to America.
Right.
They have clawfoot tubs, so many in excess that they're putting them around Mary in the front yard. Like, ja, in Amerika bang, new yard. Mesh new yard.
And they can't even get a single bathtub out there for them.
No. My dad was like, obviously we need a bath situation. We're not all going to take a sponge bath.
All right, we just need to do a total makeover because my American kid here is going to freak out if we don't get this.
And his wife. My mom was also not going to sponge bath.
Right, because that's her first time too.
Yeah. Yeah.
So it was both your first times when you guys were going out there.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. And so my dad, again, probably the same place he bought the toilet. He went to the nearest city, got a bathtub. Also, was it a bathtub or just a shower?
Your dad didn't think at any point like, hey, let me tell my family this is what they're getting themselves into, or B, I should maybe book a hotel room until we work on the house. You know, they weren't booking hotel rooms, but
yeah,
like
you just brought your whole family. My grandparents were with us too,
right?
They were like a little more on the elderly side already. Like my grandmother needs a bath.
They're also used to that because that's all they did.
I know, but they got soft with that American life for so many years. They ended up with a tub, but again, same situation, just in the corner of the barn. So you just have to be like, all right, nobody come in the barn. I'm about to go take a tubby in the corner.
So my grandmother's house is a little bit more like functioning because they were still living there. Like they never left and came to America. So it was still like a working home, but they still had the weird, like the kitchen was outside and there was a random bathtub outside, like in the middle of it.
But that's where they took a bath?
I never did. I'm assuming they must have. My mom would wash the clothes in the bathtub. So I think at some point it maybe got turned into like, hey, we won't get rid of this. We'll use it to wash our clothes.
But did they have a bath inside? So then
when you went inside, it was like there was a shower. I don't think there was a bathtub. So
the bath that was outside, did it have plumbing connected to it?
Because my mom washed clothes in it.
They didn't just like wait for rainwater?
Nope. That's how my mom did her lawn. My mom washed our clothes because we would go out for 3 weeks, same thing. And my mom would wash clothes. She was washing my little quackaignage. Yeah. Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday quackaignage in the bathtub.
We had to wash our clothes out there too.
Yeah.
Because you only bring like one suitcase with so much stuff in it. And you were there for so long.
Well, we're planning to talk about this, but they would bring one suitcase for like clothes, but they also brought another suitcase for gifts.
This is true.
They could have packed more clothes if they wanted to.
This is true. And the gifts went both ways. So the suitcase was full of gifts going there. And then I'm sure there was gifts coming back the other way, right, too.
And it's like, wait, you're going on vacation and you're doing the visita. Look, you paid the money to go out there, but you're bringing them all gifts? And you get return the favor when you guys come back down?
That just is getting very expensive.
I can't imagine booking, like, for family of 4. It was me, my brother, and both my parents. How much that cost my father? You bought all new clothes to go out there because you're an American visiting the homeland, and they want to see that you're doing well. And according to them, doing well is having name brand clothes, right? That right there, just the spending of the clothes for the trip costs money. And then you bought gifts for them. So all in all, like, how much does this trip cost for you to go out there?
The limit does not exist.
And, like, it's not even really a vacation.
No.
Like, my mom went out there and my mom cooked. You shouldn't be cooking on vacation.
Yeah, it was just living. You were just living in a different place.
Right. That's all it was. Like, when my mom, so many years later, when my mom and my dad went on a cruise, my mom was, like, in love. She's like, that's a vacation. And I'm like, yeah, because you're not doing anything.
Yeah, Dad, you're not out in the yard digging a trench to install a bathroom on your vacation.
Like, can you imagine getting off a flight and traveling to your home to get to your home, and you have to build a bathroom for your kid?
They went out there knowing that they needed to do stuff. So my dad and my grandfather...
Yeah, because your grandfather packed the tools that he packed.
Exactly. He packed all the tools in the garment bag because they knew they were going to have to do work out there. But
why is that a trip? That's not a trip.
Right. Like, Dad and Bavu, you go out there first. You fix the bathroom. We'll catch you on the next trip.
Right. See you next year.
Yeah.
Me and Mom going to go to Disney.
Exactly. Our kitchen situation out there, I know you said your mom was cooking on vacation, so we had to set ourselves up to be able to cook when we got there, because we got there and we're like, we can't even cook if we wanted to.
You were starting from ground zero.
Total ground zero.
Yeah.
So we went in and I'm like, where's the kitchen? They're like, you're standing in it. What do you mean? What am I looking at here? So there's a couple of cabinets, right? Like some wooden cabinet doors. No cabinet doors. Wooden cabinet frame with shelves and like a little curtain.
Oh,
little
it's
curtain.
A curtain.
Do you know what I'm talking about?
Yeah.
So like the plates are in there on the shelves, but there's like a curtain over it and not a cabinet door. And then concrete countertop.
Yeah, they just took a slab. They just mixed cement. Yeah. And that's how they made it countertops.
So the countertop was just a slab of concrete. And I'm looking at it and I'm so how did you cook, Dad? Like, you used to live here. Where were you cooking? There's no stove. And he's like, no, like, you see that part of the concrete right there? See how it's below the chimney? And I'm like, yeah. He's like, you build a fire on the counter. And then you put a pan on it and you heat up the water and you cook over there. I'm like, no, like we're going outside. If I want to just boil a macaroni, I got to go outside, collect wood. I got to come inside. I got to build a fire on top of the counter. And then I got to boil water on that.
At that point, you're not even hungry anymore. I'm like, sorry, macaroni and cheese. Not today.
I'm like, you're joking, right? Like, this is not what we're doing here. I'm not going to go build a fire in here.
Right.
To cook. Ridiculous.
You were in Girl Scouts, though, right?
I don't think I got my fire badge. I was only a daisy. I don't think I made it to the brownie level.
I didn't join any of that stuff. Like, if it cost money, my father wasn't into it.
My mom, of course, was like a Girl Scout leader, troop leader, if you know her. Yeah.
My father was too busy paying for trips to Portugal every other summer.
He had priorities.
Yeah.
And it didn't involve extracurriculars for you.
Nope. I appreciate it now that I went out there a lot, but I didn't appreciate it at the time.
No, you hated that. That wasn't a trip you could come back and be like, hey guys, I just went to the Azores. Like,
right.
Nobody
Absolutely
cared.
not. I was like, oh, I went to Portugal.
Again.
Yeah.
You went a lot.
I did go a lot. Yeah, quite a few times.
So the kitchen situation, that was the stove. There was no fridge.
Stone Age.
I'm like, how did you preserve food? And they're like, oh, you put it in butter or lard, or you put it in salt. Or
Yep.
I'm just, we can't live like this. It's 2002. Like, the world almost just ended at Y2K. Like, we are advanced. I just couldn't believe it. So we ended up having to, again, go to the little nearby city, buy, I think, more like a camping stove situation to like put on the countertop, so we could at least use maybe like some propane or something and heat up water.
Oh yeah, your father should have definitely had this all done before you guys went there. And
then I got like maybe like a mini fridge or something like that. So I think that was like what we used to get by for that trip. But I'm like, how could you bring your 16-year-old daughter to these conditions?
And it's funny because you haven't been back since.
Yeah, I mean, that was traumatic.
You haven't been back since until this summer.
And I was a camper. Like, we used to camp and stuff like that. And my dad, he kept saying that. Just think of this as a camping trip. Just think of this as a camping trip. I'm like, but this shouldn't be a camping trip. I don't go camping for 3 weeks.
Right.
And it was worse than camping.
Yeah, because you have to get on a plane to camp for this. Like, you're already exhausted from traveling. And then you have to, like, go out. It's not the same as camping. It is, but it's not.
It's not. It was worse. And, you mentioned it earlier, like the corn husks.
Yep.
The beds out there, when I went in 2002, were still corn husk beds.
See,
mattresses.
I don't recall when I went out there what it was still. But, like, we all had to share beds. Like, I slept in bed with my cousin. My brother slept in bed with my other, with my guy cousin. I slept in bed with my, like, girl cousin. And I can't recall. I remember, like, I fell off the bed. And no one woke up. They just had this big thump and no one woke up. But I can't remember if it was corn husk still.
I'm like, that shit doesn't rot.
Yeah.
It would just be like a sheet or something sewn into the shape of a mattress. And then you leave a little hole open so that you can stuff in the corn husk. So do you have to, like, refresh and replace the corn husk?
And, like, wouldn't fleas be, like, a thing? No? Like, I don't know.
Something, right? Like, where are the bugs? There's bugs somewhere in there.
Yeah, because, like, my dad told me as a kid he had worms. They had to be, like, something that wasn't clean. I don't know, right? I mean, my dad lived on a farm, and there was animals. My dad had dogs. Cats were coming in and out.
He's lucky all he had was worms.
Seriously. And how I found out he had worms was when I was giving my dog her heartworm medication. My dad's like, what's that for? I'm always like, oh, so she doesn't catch any biche. And biche is like just like a general term for bugs. And he's like, I had biche. And I was like, what? He's like, yeah. He's like, I caught worms when I was out there.
So proud of it. I know. You're treating the dog better than I used to get treated.
Seriously. They didn't have like a heartworm chewable they could take. Yeah, like, I don't know. I feel like there would be some type of bug infestation with like a corn husk. I don't know why. It just seems like it would.
Yeah, or like it would just decompose over time. Like, why was that still in there in 2002?
Well, like you said, they left everything the way it was.
And before they came to America, they were trying to come to America for like several years, and they kept getting denied. I think we talked about it in one of our first episodes. And my grandfather was unwilling to spend any money on improvements or upgrading anything to their house before they left, because he was like, we're just going to leave this house here. Like, we're going to America,
right?
Or we're going to be going to America soon. I'm not going to go spend money to go do something here
if we're not, yeah.
If we're going to just leave it, abandon it. Like, we need to save our money or whatever. So they were probably even more behind than what was normal for that village at the time. The other people living in the village might have had
already upgrades or advancements,
you know, like not dirt floors. They
Right.
had dirt floors when he was growing up.
If I was like born and if I was probably going back out there at the 70s, my grandmother's house, my grandparents' house would probably be the same situation. I'm sure they didn't have like a shower and a stove at that point either.
Right.
I just was obviously a little bit more fortunate enough to go out there with already all the upgrades.
Right. Like they had electricity because there was like one light bulb and one outlet maybe in the house, in the whole house.
Yeah.
But I'm sure at the time maybe other homes may have had a little more than one light bulb because the electricity was obviously there. So maybe people were making more improvements than my grandfather being like one light bulb, but that's it.
If he wasn't planning to stay there, why would you need electricity?
So imagine me as a 16-year-old going there and I'm trying to plug in my hairdryer, blowing the freaking the fuse. I don't know. It wasn't a fuse. I don't know how they wired that shit out there, but
hey, Lizzie Borden's father, Andrew Borden, he had all tons of money. He didn't have electricity in his house. He didn't want it.
And it was already a thing. I don't know what the timeline was.
Yeah,
for
it
Lizzie
was.
Borden.
So, yeah, your grandfather didn't want it. He wanted the one. He just wanted the one bulb.
Honestly, I'm surprised he even had the one.
We are so fortunate. The more you think about it, we are just so lucky.
Yeah. So that was the situation in the house
So your first time visiting the homeland.
I had a cousin who was also, she lived here in the US and she was also on the same vacation with us, staying in the same village. And they were staying at somebody's house who was like nice and upgraded. And so I was over there constantly.
All the time.
I left my parents in my dust. I was like, I'm going down the street and I'm going to stay over there. They've got some nice amenities.
And it's like probably like the basic amenities, but you don't even care. You're just like, I'll take it.
Yeah, just like a refrigerator.
Yeah.
Maybe a stove. So, call me crazy. A regular bathroom. That's all I wanted.
A bathroom that I don't have to spray freaking cockroaches off of me.
Just ridiculous.
How is it? Oh, you don't know. Yeah, you don't know how it is now, obviously, but I'm sure you've seen pictures. I know your parents have, like your dad's been a couple of times to fix it. So
he's done all kinds of stuff.
Do you think it's better?
Yeah. So my American husband is not going to get the true experience that I had.
Yeah.
He's going to get kind of like a normal experience. I think they have a regular stove and fridge. They have a regular bathroom that they made not in the barn. They converted the barn to like bedroom space. They made a set of stairs. It's like 2 stories now. There's like a living room and a bedroom upstairs. They have real furniture everywhere, real mattresses.
All right.
Actually, speaking of mattresses, my mom, again, it was like a corn husk situation. She didn't want to do that. I think she ended up getting an air mattress. So she got an air mattress and she was like, I'll just put the air mattress on the bed frame. So like she'll get rid of the corn husk mattress.
Right.
And instead of being like, I don't want to sleep on the floor for 3 weeks on the air mattress, but I'll just put it on the bed frame and we'll sleep like that. So like took like one night. They popped a hole right through that freaking air mattress.
Man.
Like one of the nails from the bed frame, just popped it. Poof, gone, deflated.
And now you're sleeping on the floor.
So like now you have nothing. So she needed a mattress like instantly. Oh, let me go over to this like one little, I'm going to call it a convenience store in the village. That's like the only store. And they sell, I don't even know what they sell. I don't know what they sell.
Clearly a mattress.
But they sell apparently a mattress. One mattress they probably had in the back for the past 30 years that nobody's bought. I don't know. And the store was closed. So it was like you walk over and you go to the woman's house who owns the store.
Right.
And you just, hi, I know it's Sunday and you're closed, but we really need a mattress. And she comes out with her little shoves, her keys, and she opens the door.
Yeah. Grandmother had a man. Same thing.
Yeah. So then they give you the mattress. You bring it right over. All done.
Oh, man. And that trip didn't discourage your mom for ever going again. Like now she loves it.
She loves it. She goes every year.
Yeah. I would have been done. I would have been done after that.
Oh, she should have been done, Kelly. She should have been done. This wasn't even on the list to talk about today, but I am going to tell you about her eye.
Oh, what happened with her eye?
this same trip that we were out there, she used to do like fake nails, like just like a press on, like the old school, like you go to CVS, you buy the little bottle of nail glue and you put on your press on nails. So she did that for vacation so she could look all fancy. I don't know for what, because we were camping hardcore for 3 weeks. But so she did her little fancy nails. She also happened to have contacts and had the little contact solution bottles, which apparently look exactly the same as the nail glue.
Please explain my reaction right now.
Kelly already knows where this is going. And she just reached in her purse. She had both of the bottles in her purse. She reached in her purse and she was going to put eye drops in her eye.
Oh my God.
And she obviously accidentally put nail glue, which is like a super glue. Like it's like super adhesive.
Like the nail. Yeah.
She put it in her eye, like immediately. As soon as she like closed her eyes, she knew something was wrong. She was like,
making me nauseous already.
Oh shit. What?
This is making me nauseous already.
So she was like, oh shit. And I think she immediately went to try to like flush it out, tried to pull the contact out. The contact started coming out in like pieces. So she had to go to like a hospital. But out there, like hospital situation is not a hospital situation out here.
Right.
I don't even know where she went. We must have had to drive because there's no hospital in the village. So they must have had
back
to drive
into the city.
To the
right.
Not like not the main city,
but
the closest city. Maybe let's say half hour.
Right.
40 minutes, whatever. So she had to drive there. She said it was like hollow and empty. So she like walks in and there's nobody there. Like there's nobody at reception. She starts like walking down the hallways, just being like, hello, is anybody in here? Like trying to find someone.
Yeah.
Eventually just like finds a person who's passing themselves off as a dude. And they just like irrigate her eye. They give her this giant eye patch that she has to wear, like to the festa and the rest of the time that she's in.
Poor thing.
On
Here
vacation.
she is trying to be fancy with her nails. And now she just added an eye patch accessory.
And then they just like walk out and you don't pay.
That's like the best thing.
It sounds amazing.
Not in this country.
No wait and you don't have to pay.
Yeah.
I was like, this is like,
yeah.
You probably don't know what kind of service you're going to get, but.
Right. I remember I was sick out there and same thing. I didn't, like my parents had to take me to whatever as well. And they didn't get a bill. My dad was like sick out there one of the times that they went alone, like my parents went alone. He came back home with like Portuguese medicine. I was like, did you have to pay for this? And he's like, no.
I was just going to ask you, like, do they do medicine out there? Or is it all
like
just
cough
like
medicine?
Rub a little vinagre on there.
He had like a cough medicine and kind of like, it looked like an all right label on it. It's not like CVS, Walgreens label on it. It was just like printed. His name was on the bottle.
But do you think it was really cough medicine or was it just like cachaça? Could be.
Maybe that was like their remedy for a lot of things.
My grandfather, I just remember growing up. What's tintuda? That's like the red iodine stuff, maybe?
I think so, yeah.
My grandfather was forever doing tintudas.
Yeah.
Do you know what I'm talking about?
Yeah, I do. Yep. But I can't think of like, yeah. Oh my God, that's like an unlocked memory to me right now. Holy
Do you know
crap.
what I'm talking about? It
yes.
was like bright red.
Yep, I know.
I don't think they make that anymore. It's some kind of heavy metal based.
Yep.
And that's why they were like, yeah, you can't be putting mercury on your skin or whatever the heck it was. But so I don't think it's a thing anymore. But growing up as a kid, like you go in his bathroom and he was just always with the tintuda all over himself.
Yes. I have to look it up now and see what it is.
But so medical stuff out there, amazing.
When I got sick out there, I don't know what it was. Not to be disgusting, but I was just throwing up everywhere. I just, maybe I caught a bug. Maybe their like fresh food just wasn't sitting well with my McDonald's stomach.
Was it like right when you got there, or was it like the windy roads?
It was towards like I think
related?
the ends, because so on the way to the airport coming home, I threw up all over myself, and my mom was like, "That was your airport outfit." Like you just threw up all of yours out.
You better get into that gift suitcase. You better open up some of those gifts you were going to bring home.
But like I remember like getting medicine, and I still don't. We were kind of talking about this last night. It was like I got this random pill in my butt to like help me. Don't know what it was, and didn't have to pay for it.
Who administered the butt pill?
My aunt did. So that's. But I did go to a doctor. My aunt did. I remember laying down, and it was supposed to help me, but clearly it didn't because I threw up on the way back home.
I'm going to use the phrase that is my favorite phrase. Nunca na minha vida have I ever heard of somebody having upset stomach and needing to insert a pill in their butt.
But maybe it was something else I had going on. I don't remember. I just remember throwing up a shit ton.
Were you having diarrhea as well?
That I don't remember, honestly.
Because that seems like a dicey situation. Like if you're already...
No, that I don't think I did. I'm telling you, maybe it was just eating fresh food. We're not used to that here.
So my mom always said like the steaks and stuff, she's like, it's almost like it's like too fresh.
Yeah.
She said they taste different without all those hormones.
Getting injected into it, right?
Preservatives.
Yeah, because when I went out there, my aunt made me a hamburger, and I thought it was the most disgusting thing ever. Fresh hamburger.
Like it was probably like hours old.
That's probably why I got sick.
I think the milk situation was also weird. Like
Yeah.
it was I remember it being either bagged milk, and it wasn't in like the cold section.
No.
Like it was just on the shelf in a bag.
Yeah.
I'm like, what the hell's going on?
I still remember it was like in a bag on the table.
And like you'd have to just maybe shape it by putting it in like a pitcher or something.
Yeah. But they would keep it in the bag, I think, inside the pitcher.
Yes, exactly.
Yeah.
Sometimes it was in a box.
Mm-hmm.
Because I remember my cousin, her dad was trying to open the boxed milk, and it had like a little flap that came up, and you were supposed to kind of cut the tip off of this flap so that you could pour out of this like little pointy triangle thing. And for some reason, he thought he needed to cut a reverse triangle into the triangle instead of just cutting straight across. And what he did was made this like split dragon head. So you had to fill 2 cups of milk at the same time.
Because they were going to both come out.
Because it was just like 2 streams and they were going in like complete opposite directions. So every time we had milk, we had to have 2 milks.
It's not that hard though. All you have to do is just cut it in the middle.
Like I think you just cut straight across. You cut the tip off and then you just pour out this little spout. He cut like a triangle in the reverse direction, like into the tip.
That's so freaking funny. And then now you have those 2 cups of milk and you have to drink it.
Right. And I feel like
it
might have been, was it always cow's milk? Because I feel like there was like goat milk or something, or there was like...
Goat milk might have got thrown into that mix.
Yeah, I remember there being something weird about like the taste of the milk. I don't remember.
Yeah, I don't remember the milk.
I had to put whatever cocoa powder they had out there in there to
make it taste a little bit better.
Acceptable. Yeah. It felt like you were like sucking on a nutter, like I mean, straight from the cow, like or straight from the animal. No pasteurization process.
But the thing is, it's fresh. It's fresh. That's the problem.
It's better. Yeah,
it's better for us. And here we are, these dumb American girls that are like, I want my freaking artificial hormones stuff.
I want my Yoo-hoo, which is chocolate flavored water.
We want the crap that's bad for us. This is why, like, pretty much most of Europe, they live longer than we do.
Oh, that's a whole other topic.
They're like, dude, so much better than we are.
Yeah.
Right? That was like how our parents ate. It was basically farm to table.
Now it's like, that's a lot of money to eat farm to table out here. That's like a luxury.
Yeah. It's no farm to table here.
No.
It's too expensive to do that.
Over there, that's all they did.
That's all they did.
Like, and we're trying hard to try to like get back to that.
Right.
Because that's like ideal. But like, growing up, you didn't realize it. Like in our childhood, growing up through the 90s and stuff, it was like the height of like processed foods.
Yeah. But like I also don't feel like I had a lot of process. Like I didn't have a lot of that when we were young. Like I didn't have a whole lot of McDonald's.
No, I don't think I had a lot of McDonald's, but I'm just saying even like snacks and food like at home, like cereals and
your parents would go grocery shopping and you know, if the snack you like was on sale, they grabbed it.
Right. Just like the gummy snacks and the Dunkaroos and like all that kind of crap.
Dunkaroos, man, was so good. They still have them, you know that, right?
They still make them?
Yeah, Market Basket. Shout out.
So like growing up as a kid, my grandmother would like she'd make these like ribs or something, and then to put them back in the fridge to preserve them, like it would just be in lard. So when I wanted to go heat up the ribs again, I had to dig them out of the lard bucket, you know, like it was probably in like a country crock.
Yeah. My
container
mom till this day still has like lard in a country crock. I have to be really careful how I said that. In one of the, I don't know why. It's like, and then when you just open, you think you're opening to get your butter, and it's not.
The first time my husband saw that, he was like, "I'm sorry, so what is wrong with these ribs? What is this?"
Why?
I'm like, "Oh, they're just preserved in lard. Like you just dig them out and you just heat
why
them up.
am I scavenging? Why am I have to scavenge to get my meats?
It was like an archaeologist, like digging for bones. Like it was just
digging for your ribs.
Yeah, he's like, you know, it's just not worth it. He didn't see the value in it, and now he's on this like health kick, and
yeah, we were just talking about it this morning.
He wants to go back to basics, and he's like, oh yeah, preserving in lard is a great idea.
But it wasn't a few years ago, right?
No. All right, if we're going to start talking about food, though, we're going to need a whole separate episode for that. We'll have to kick that off on another one.
At another time, we'll get more in detail about our foods and the foods that we consumed and didn't consume.
Yeah, we'll have to finish that out next week.
So it's about that time. Thanks for listening.
If you're enjoying our podcast, please just give us a review on whatever platform you're using to listen to us. You can also visit our website. It's folkandfad.com. We have transcripts available there of every episode. And you can also send us an email, mail@folkandfad.com. Or you can hit us up on Twitter. Same handle there, folkandfad.
And for Instagram, you can follow us at _It's Called Culture.